Hello, my cookies. Welcome to Russell Cooks. Thanks so much for tuning in. Today, I have one of my favorite things ever. It's called Millionaire Shortbread. It is essentially a layer of shortbread, layer of caramel, a layer of chocolate. Just don't call it a Twix. Millionaire Shortbread. It is delicious. It is a little bit more time intensive, but there's a lot of hands-off time. Let's get started. First things first, we got to gather our ingredients. You are going to need AP flour. This is all-purpose unbleached flour. Granulated sugar, salt, 3 sticks of butter. I got 2 sticks melted right here. Corn syrup, 14-ounce can of condensed milk, 8 ounces of chocolate. 60% is nice. I have both 56 and 66%. Total of 8 ounces. Brown sugar, and of course, some heavy cream. First things first, we have to make this shortbread bottom. We have to make it, we have to bake it, and then we got to let it cool. While it's cooling, we will make our caramel topping. Right when it's about to finish cooling and it's gotten cool enough, we'll make our chocolate topping, spread that on top, pop it in the fridge for that chocolate to harden, and then we can cut it up and eat it. Let's start on that shortbread. You are going to need 2.5 cups of flour. Next up is a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. And finally, I'm using kosher salt, so I'm going to put in about a teaspoon. If you're using table salt, put in maybe 1/2 teaspoon, maybe 3/4 of a teaspoon. All right, let's whisk this around, really incorporate everything here. Oh, I should mention, I've preheated my oven, 350 degrees, and I'm doing the lower middle rack. We got 16 tablespoons of melted butter here going in, and I'm just going to stir it around with a rubber spatula. Don't try and whisk this. All the dry flour is gone. Now we got to get it into our pan. Now this pan is a 13x9 baking pan. You want it metal, not glass. And what I have done is I have done what's called a foil sling. So the bottom sling is the lengthwise, and I have the side sling like this, and this will just help me get it out of the pan really easily. I'm going to spray it down, and then I'm going to get my crust in and bake it. To get the crust in, just kind of get it in. Just do it. You can use your hand, you can use the back of a measuring cup, whatever you want. Just press it in, get it into a nice even layer. I think we're looking good here. Got it into the corners. Feels like it's an even layer. Now I'm just going to prick it with a fork, and this will help it from puffing up too much. But when it comes out, one of the things we're going to do is while it's warm, we're going to press it back down, and that's just going to compact it a little bit. It's going to make it easier to cut, amongst other things. So I'm just going to go maybe every 1.5 inches here. Prick it with your fork. Now I'm going to bake it. It's going to take about 30 minutes. Check on it a little bit earlier, but you want it nicely browned and starting to get a little bit dark around the edge. While that cooks, we've got to get this caramel filling going. This is going to take about 30 minutes as well. You want to factor in, kind of need the shortbread to cool a little bit. You don't want to rush this caramel step. For the caramel topping, let's get our condensed milk, about 1 cup of brown sugar, about 1/2 cup heavy cream, about 1/2 cup of corn syrup, a stick of butter, and a little bit of salt. So we're just going to throw this all into a large saucepan I got over here, and you are going to need an instant read thermometer because you want to take the temperature. You're going to cook this up to, I want to say, around 238 degrees Fahrenheit. 1 cup brown sugar, 1/2 cup heavy cream, 1/2 cup corn syrup, a stick of butter. Last but not least, I'm going to put about 3/4 of a teaspoon of kosher salt in here. I'm going to turn this on, say about medium heat. Low and slow is the name of the game here. Don't really want to go higher than medium heat. While this stuff cooks, let's prep our chocolate. It's pretty easy. You're going to chop up 3/4 of it, and you're going to grate the last quarter. Essentially, you're going to temper it in the microwave. Just makes it easier. This is getting hotter. Let's put our chocolate on pause for now. Let's focus on this caramel. Now all the butter's melted. Look at this temperature. We're going to want to see 238-ish. You know, it's been a little bit. I'm going to rotate my shortbread here. All right, keep chopping. Keep chopping chocolate. Who writes this stuff? Derek. I'm going to grate about 2 ounces of it. All right, we are trying to hit 237, 38 degrees here. All right, we're getting closer. I'm gonna turn the heat down a little bit because I'm still waiting on my crust to come out. It's been about 25 minutes. Let's check on the shortbread and get it out. All right, perfect. Look at this. You can see there's faint browning across the whole thing and the edges are turning nice and golden brown. This is perfect. This is right where I want it to be. Now, while it's hot, you can use pretty much anything that'll get the job done. I have a pretty sturdy metal spatula here, and I'm just going to press down on this shortbread. And this will just help compact it. It'll make it easier to cut. It'll make it sturdier to eat, so it doesn't really crumble in your hands. Now that we've done that, I'm gonna let it cool a little bit. I'm gonna finish my caramel. 235. Almost. Oh, they're so close. There we go, 236, perfect. Now while it's still hot, let's get it on to our shortbread here. Yes, now be careful. This is ripping hot. Just spread it into the corners here. You want a nice even layer. It's perfect. Now you gotta let it cool for about 2 hours. I'm gonna try popping this in my freezer. Hopefully we can get the chocolate on sooner than an hour and a half. My Millionaire shortbread is cooling. It is still chilling, but we are going to make the chocolate. All right, we are just going to finish chopping this chocolate and then we're going to melt it in the microwave. 50% power, depending on your microwave. Maybe 30% if it's really strong. 50% is probably a good average. You're going to stir it about every 15 seconds. You just want to melt it. No more than just melt it. It's like when you do butter, and if you go just past too far, it kind of explodes. Well, this is different. If you go too far and get it too hot, it won't set properly. You can absolutely do this in a double boiler on your stove. I just think it's easier and faster with the microwave. It takes a couple minutes. Let me check on this. Here we go. We're looking good. We're looking good. It's cooled down almost at room temperature. It's still a little hot, but the top there is pretty much room temperature, and that's really what I have to worry about with the chocolate. So let's get melting. So we're pretty close to being completely melted. You see how there's still kind of chunks there? So I'm just gonna stir. I'm probably gonna put it back in for another 15 seconds at a 50% microwave, just to get that last little bit up. You can see it's melted chocolate. Let's get this stuff in. This is 2 ounces of finely grated. Stir this around. We want this fully melted. If you need to put it back in for another 5, 10, 15 seconds in the microwave, then do it. You don't want chunks here. Now let's spread this on our Millionaire shortbread. I love these little offset spatulas. I use them for everything. Spread it into a nice even layer. Get into those corners. Gotta work quickly here. No, you gotta work quickly because the chocolate is gonna start to set. Now you can try and make it smooth. You can put little flourishes on it. Whatever you want to do. Make it your own. You have to chill this. That's right. Refrigerator. Maybe upwards of 15 minutes. Depends how warm it is to begin with. The Millionaire shortbread, I hope, has cooled. We're going to cut into it. We don't have time to spare. We have a hard chocolate surface on top. I'm now going to use this to get it out of the pan. Yes, one piece. So the thing with baking, you don't know whether or not it's going to be good until you kind of cut into it and try it. And the same thing, we have 3 different parts and none of them were really tested. So you just got to hope that it turns out great. Let's cut it. I like using a serrated knife. I'm going to cut lengthwise here down the middle. Look at that. That is perfect. I couldn't have done it any better. Look at those layers. Look at how even they are. This is phenomenal. Let's get it going here. All right, let me take a bite. Oh my God. Look at this. A clean bite. The caramel is cooked to that perfect consistency where you can bite through it. It is so good. And the shortbread kind of balances out that really nice sweetness. And then the chocolate comes in and it's just delicious. All 3 together. And there's a little bit of extra salt in that shortbread. And that really carries it through. I love kind of salted caramel. This just made my day. This is delicious. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed this recipe. Don't forget, you can follow me on Twitch, YouTube. I'm also on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Take care.